Continuing Ritva. I want to go back to the Baruch Makom thing that we read last time. So let's reread it. I had a glimmer of an idea.
Okay.
So I'm going to read from here, even though this is other things on the screen. So Baruch Makom, Mipnei, the first word, Mipnei, Shetzarek Lidros Arba'a Psukim Chalukim B'inyanim, since it is necessary to expound on 4 psukim that are different in their subjects, or whatever contents, Shenemru b'Torah b'Asik Arba Banim, that were said in the Torah in the involvement of the 4 sons. L'chach maskil levarach es Hashem. Therefore, we begin to bless Hashem, shenasan lanu Torah shlema, who gave us a perfect Torah. Because after we were redeemed from Mitzrayim, we redeemed us from Mitzrayim. Kirvanu lifnei Har Sinai, he brought us close to Har Sinai. K'moshi adnu b'tchila aydei Moshe Rabbeinu alav v'shalom, as he promised in the beginning through Moshe Rabbeinu. K'mosh kasav b'hotiach as am mitzrayim tavdunus elokim al har zeh. Nikra Kadosh Baruch Hu Malkom. Oh, let's pause there for 1 second here. Yeah. So what the idea of like having a bracha on this fact that you're being dorish arba psukim chalukim b'inyanam?
I think like he's mixing up 2 things. He's saying that and that we put in the Torah.
Yeah, how did that fit in?
I don't know.
Because God gave us a Torah shlema.
It seems like 2 different things.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that key is weird. Okay, yeah. So the footnote, see, my good footnote here says, "L'chora mikan hutam acher." Sounds like this is another reason. V'nir shetchilas devarav inam laseis tam lama mavarchim b'layla zeh es Hashem al nasinas Torah. Seems like his first reason at the beginning of his word, he's not giving a reason for why we bless on this night Hashem over the giving of the Torah. Shetam lazeh hu mipnei shematan Torah hu hahemshach liyitzias Mitzrayim k'moshu mafarish kan. Because that reason is because Matan Torah is a continuation of Yitzias Mitzrayim, as he explained here. Ella lama b'varchim zos davka b'shalav zeh shel Haggadah. But rather, why we make this blessing specifically here at this point in the Haggadah. Shatam lezeh hu mipnei shetzarach lidrosh l'kulei. So that allegedly helps, but it didn't.
What do you say?
You want me to read it again?
Can you translate?
So this is on the word, starting on the word ki afar shegalanu mitzrayim karvan l'fnei Sinai. Okay, so that sounds like he's saying that seems like a second reason. V'nir shetchilas devarav einam laseis tam lama mavarachim b'layla zeh es Hashem al nasinas haTorah. It seems that the beginning of his words, meaning the whole part about the drushos of the psukim, is not giving a reason about why we bless God tonight on the giving of the Torah. Because the reason for that is because Matan Torah is a continuation of Yitzias Mitzrayim, as he explains here. Ella, rather, lama mavarachim zos davka b'shalav zeh shel Haggadah. Why we make this blessing specifically at this portion of the Haggadah? The hatam l'zeh we make the tzarech lidrosh. Because the reason for this is that we need the darshan.
So we need to. We want to praise God for giving us the Torah.
Yeah.
But then where do we say that? Let's say right before we do.
Yeah, I think so. It still is weird. I mean, he's grappling with the question that you're raising.
Yeah.
One thing that is interesting, by the way, this is the kernel of the thought that I was having. Is you were saying like, why do you need a separate Birkas Torah here? And it's also not really a Birkas Torah, but let's just go with that. Let's ignore that for a second. Is that you don't usually talk about how the Torah was like addressed to different levels of intellect. That is a different facet of Torah than what we mentioned in any of the other Birkas of Torah.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not saying that that would be sufficient reason to make a Birkas Torah, but that's the subject, that's the type of learning that you're doing. You're saying that you're talking about like the audience of Torah, you know?
Right. And it's definitely a different kind of
Yeah, well, that's the question, I guess, is how far does this gift of Torah extend to? Like, is it all going off of all of the Rami Lavavi stuff?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Is that stuff? Maybe not. I guess I assume that was it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you saw it sitting on.
Yeah, Daled took him. The Etek Arbabanim.
But maybe that's just the cup Moscow. Maybe that's just the first thing that we're doing. So we have to do it here.
Could be.
But I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. All right, let's go on. All right, so now we get to the 4 banim, right? Let's read in the Ritva. Where did we read? We read Baruch Makom. So Chacham Mahu Amir? Oh, sorry. Baruch, oh yeah, who Keneged Arba Banim Dibra Torah. Echad Chacham, Echad Rashat, Echad Tam, Echad Ishem De'elishol. Chacham Mahu Omer, Maha Edith Vakukim Amishpadim Shertiva Deshem Elokim Achem, Af Ata Emor Lo Kihilvas Lip Pesach. Imachir Achar Pesach Avikoman. Yeah, there's a lot of differences in this in the Chacham's thing here, right? So in the Girtaos. This is Af Ata Emor Lo Kihilvas Pesach Lip Pesach. How do you translate that?
Even you say to him like the halachos to the.
Yeah, very strange. And then Imachir Achar Pesach Avikoman. I guess this is what you say then, right? We do not.
Is it like clarification of what that means? Is this an example?
Yeah, yeah. It seems like an example, but it is really weird.
It's like is it's weird to have an example of how something that says that this is.
Yeah. I mean, I always kind of punctuate in my mind as af ata emor lo Pesach, like colon quote aim up your Pesach colon end quote. You know. I don't know. Let's read to the front and the commentary paired. Not doing all of them now. Chacham Mahu Omer. Oh yeah. Everyone in Torah. Kol kach rata l'kaim inyan tzibur yitzit v'trayim b'zarenu shehifrish lahagid u'lasaper b'chol ben u'ben kfi matru. Wow, that's weird. God so much wanted to establish the idea of tzibur yitzit v'trayim in our offspring that he separated to proclaim and to tell each and every son according to what he is. Umahin hadalad banim echad chacham b'chole. Kein dalad psukim meforashim b'torah b'inyan zeh. V'darshim chazal keneged arba banim. Kol seder zeh shel dalad banim katav b'mechata. Yeah, it's weird because it does not come across as arba banim in the Torah, right?
Right.
Doesn't come across as a raka. Doesn't come across as a tam. What was that?
And the emphasis is different than the.
Yeah, I mean, this is different.
I guess the implication from student is that he has to understand.
Yeah,
And like internalize it. So if that's the purpose of that, then
yeah. Meaning, are you saying like the fact that the Torah itself presents it as like ki yishalcha bencha, and then like gives you a demonstrative answer?
yeah, and you're like kind of like teaching him something. You're not just saying it
Mhm.
to him.
Right.
So that's his level.
Yeah.
These are just 4 arguments.
Okay, let's do the Chacham. Chacham Mahu Omer, Maha Edut V'li, that part appears, or Pasuk. A Pasuk at the part of the Sana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you have it, okay. V'haya ki yishalcha bencha Maha Limor, Maha Edus. U'mit'elatov hu medaktek b'chol inyan Pesach nikar shu Chacham. Okay, so from this question that he scrutinizes all of he's exacting in all of the matters of Pesach, it is recognizable that he's a Chacham. He's here, Hukim, Eidos, Mishpatim, because he's mentioning the categories. Right, yeah. Eidos, him, Devarim Sheish Behem Tam, Shehim, Eidos, Al Geulas Mitzrayim. So Eidos are the things that have a reason, that they are testimonies on the redemption from Egypt. Kagon, Lechel Matzah Umarosh, Hu Lechem Oni, V'decha L'Yemaru Es Chayehem. So like the matzah, which is the bread of affliction and remembrance of the individual of our lives. In the Pesach, Zachar Pesach Hamagim Albati Avasim B'Mitzrayim. we remember that God stood over the houses of our fathers in Egypt. Who the Taleh, who Mazalam, and the sheep, which was their sign.
Yeah.
What?
I think that was the sign of the of Nissan, remember?
Yeah, Harry Chef.
Yeah.
I think that's the name of the god.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the zodiac?
Aries.
Aries.
I think Aries is the ram, right? Capricorn is the sheep, though. But I think Aries is the one that was this one. I think it was the ram.
That for a second, something was talking about like motorcycle.
Don't say that.
Yeah. Uvelohim Asahim Shvatim, and against their gods, Hashem did judgment. Do we either have a non-squeaky chair or WD-40? I'm getting very distracted by the that, or any solution would be acceptable.
No, no. Yeah, this one seems like awesome.
Thank you. My fists are clenched, you can't tell. Okay. The chukim, halachos, so those are eidos, right? This is slightly different than the definition of eidos that I thought. I thought eidos were anything that testified to a specific event. These confining it to Gulas Mitzrayim. I don't have a problem with that, but you thought the eidos was specifically about Pesach, you're saying?
I'm not sure what you think the different ones. What do you think differently than the original?
He's saying, well, he's saying that its eidos are, well, maybe he's not even defining them. He's saying how eidos came to Varam Chief and Tom came eidos all Gulas Mitzrayim.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I thought that Sukkah was eidos.
What do you mean specifically for Pesach? Like, he defined one of the things of
That could be.
one of the first
Yeah, that could be. You could be it that way, yeah.
I don't think he defined the general category.
Yeah. All right. Hachukim kugan halachos sheyesh b'Pesach ein nir b'hem tam mustam. Okay. So the laws of Pesach that is not discernible in them an agreed upon reason. That's mustam, right? In the etzem lo tishburubo, like don't break the bones in it. The fioka b'chavura achas. It's interesting because you have different theories on that, right?
Yeah.
What's the reason for not breaking the bones?
Forgot.
Oh, so you don't eat it quickly? No, so you don't eat it like a king.
Yeah, so you like it, King. That's what I've heard also.
Yeah.
That's like in Pacific Rim says it. Yeah. Okay. The Alpha Pizza Talmud Makor for Kabbalah, even though the reason is explained in the oral tradition, the Alpha Pizza also Mitzrayim et Yisrael lo shabru es atzmotam lo kalot. That's a different reason. Right? That even though the Egyptians devoured the Jews, they did not break their bones and they didn't annihilate them. You've never heard that one before. V'chi tamid hayu mitziyanim sham b'meit haaretz, and they were constantly distinguished there in the best of the land. Ooh, is he gonna answer my question I asked when we read this earlier? Umishpatim, because it was the question I asked. Yeah, what are the Mishpatim in? Kol ara lo yochabo. Interesting. Any uncircumcised person should not eat from it. Okay, Charlotte Hill is coming to Matzah, b'dik duke sofrim. So that's not Mishpatim in the classical definition.
No. I think I was thinking something like that. Like, what does he mean in this one?
Yeah. So what does he mean by Mishpatim? That's interesting. Meaning, so it's a Tam Mukam that is not an aid, yeah. And they just let me just see if they say the same thing in the notes there.
Like oil.
Oral's uncircumcised
I was
person?
saying, why is that?
Oh, I guess we have to figure out what a mishpat is.
You don't certify or you.
The only one who mentioned what this fucking part.
Yeah, so this footnote here, in the source time says, Edot umishpatim yiklan tam, benigud l'chukim. Okay, fine. I mean, not exactly, but Edot hem ikari hamitzvos umishpatim hem prati adinim. That's how he takes it. Particular halachos. It's not exactly mashal from what he's saying.
No.
Well,
I mean, he says Yikuke Sofrim though.
It's the Eidos and Mishpatim have reasons, and Eidos are testimonials, whereas Mishpatim are structural.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking also. Yeah, there's a good word for it.
Statutes.
Yeah, statutes. Yeah.
So the whole
Yeah, he's not, yes, structurally, being part of the, part of Am Yisrael in a certain sort of way. In whatever way Bris Milah is, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting though that like why don't we say that that's chok?
yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
to me that's yeah. And I would say that not eating one chavura would be a mishpat. You know, I mean, only eating one chavura would be mishpat.
Well, it's possible that who give and mishpatim change throughout, like what we think is a hoax and what we think is a mishpat, like changes based on throughout the ages.
It's possible. I don't see it from here.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's a big
Yeah,
change.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, it seems because why? I mean, it's weird. He's just not going with the standard definition of chok and mishpat. Like, mishpat, the reasons are obvious. Chokim, they're not. End of story.
Mm.
And eidos are, obvious, but you wouldn't have done them on your own.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. Regulations, I think, is the word I'm thinking of for mishpatim. Yeah, but it doesn't help us. Yeah, all right, I don't know. And let's read the next one, I guess. Afata emorlo kilchos. Now the dibra makta here. That's half pesach. Imakir v'glei. Half hagir sabachol niskal shalano. That's what the gear says in all of our niskal. The timeline. Constantly. Ma'inyan tshuva zo l'sheila zo. Right. So, I mean, I don't think that's a kasha. He says, what are the eidos chukim mishpatim? And you're telling him what they are. Yeah. Rashi is all pirish. Sheila, oh, here he goes. He's going to slam Rashi again. Sheila v'chacham kolol ba. Kevin sheikra hayom hu pesach lama anu makdimin lechol hachagiga kodem lachem. Since the ikar of the day is the Pesach, why do we eat the chagiga before that? Lefikach anu meshivin la, and that's why we answered him. Ki anu osim ze ki hilchos Pesach. We do this ki hilchos Pesach. Lefi sheyihe nefal al tova. That should be eaten when you're satiated. V'gan lefi she'ein lanu lechol shum davar acharav kadesh yishar tamo b'fino. And also that we don't eat anything afterwards, that the taste remains in our mouth. We took a ta'am, and from the taste. No, sorry, from the reason. No, from the taste. Naskir tami mitzvos and sabr bakol alala. Then we will recall the reasons of the mitzvos of the mitzvah and talk about it all night. Yeah, it's wordplay. Yeah. Aval b'mechilta amru avata patach lo b'hilchos Pesach. So in the Chilta it says you introduce for him in the Hilchos Pesach. Emor lo ein maftir, and you say to him ein maftir. And klomar shu hiflig l'dakdek v'lishol. He is being like excessively particular and asking. Avatet tein l'chacham v'yachkamod. You should give to the chacham and he'll be more wise. The hefi l'farish kol Hilchos Pesach. and you respond to him by explaining all of Hilchos Pesach. Vafilu dvarim shehem tekanos chazal, even the things that are tekanos chazal, shehem lahem shum smach b'ktuvim, even things that don't have any allusion in the psukim, any support in the psukim. Hu mashet tiknu emach kirin v'chulei, lefi girsasenu kach pirusho. And this is what they established, emach kirin, according to our text, that this is its spirit. Af ata emorlo isha'ar Hilchos Pesach. You say to him like the other halachas of Pesach that we're not maftir after the Pesach Afikomen. The Haftara lashon hashlama. Haftara is a language of completion. The siyum hadavar shabo niftarin, and the conclusion of the thing that we departed from. I guess so we finished. Same period chazal b'chol makom. V'yishami hagirta af ata emorlo hilchos ein maftirin. That's even weirder. Oh, so this is the whole thing. There's a difference between the two different versions of our Rabbanim. So the one we say in Haggadah is from the Mechilta, and then the Yerushalmi has a different version. I have it here. Mechilta versus Yerushalmi. So here's the Yerushalmi version. Ben Chacham Mahu Omer Maha Idus Vachukim Mishpatim Asher Tziva Hashem Elokeinu Osanu Afata Emorlo B'Chozek Yad Hotzianu Hashem Mi Beis Avadim. Okay. Then Russia Mahu Omer Maha Avod Hazot Lachem Ma HaToreh Hazeh She'atem Matrichim Aleinu B'Chol Shana V'Shana. What is this burden that you're burdening us with every year? Mikeven shehoti esatom minachlal afata emorlo ba'avur ze asa Hashem li b'teitim li asa os la'oso ha'ish lo what asay la'oso ha'ish lo asa. I don't know what that is. Ilu haya oso ish b'mitran lo haya roy legal mitran lo olam. So that's virtually the same except for that two other thing. Then the tipei mahu omer mazos. Af atal limdu hilchot Pesach she'emach tirna Pesach afikomen. Shelo yehe b'chavur zov v'nechas l'chavur acheres. Yeah, so basically it's swapped the Ben Chacham and the Ben Tipesh. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if he says. B'yushalmi hagirza afata emorla although yechinu b'yushalmi kisham omrim hatshuva hazot Ben Tipesh she'eno yedei alishol. Wait, that's the two different stuff. So these is the easy stuff that you can understand. Okay, so yeah. So in either event, we don't say the answer that's given in the Torah, but Amarta, Levincha Avadim Hayino, right? That's what we just read earlier today. That's Avadim Hayino. V'yotzina Adashem Lasas Es Kol Achukim Gomer. L'fi mash l'katzavnu har zeh bichlal mash amarnu af ata emorlo hilchos the Pesach v'zehu lashon af ata. What? How is that included in what he's saying? I guess he's saying that really what you have to explain to him is why we only conclude with the Pesach, and that's so that we tell the Sipur all night long and remember the Tam and all that other stuff, right? So he's saying that that's somehow included in the Torah's answer of Vayitavinu Hashem Lasas as Kol Chukim. In other words, if you just read the Haggadah, you think that you just tell him the halachos, and the Ritva is saying that that's not good enough. He's saying you have to like tie it into the Avadim Hayinu and the fact that God took us out to do all these mitzvos. So in the Yerushalmi, that's explicit because Yerushalmi explicitly says you tell him God took us out of Egypt with a strong hand, but in our Haggadah, it's not as evident. So the derech here, though, is he's learning it in light of the psukim, though. Let's look at the psukim on the answer, just because we didn't read the whole thing, right? This is let's see, 70. This is Devarim. Where is it?
Norm. No.
thanks. I got it. Yeah. يفهم من خلق المرمى إذا تقول من أشباه المشاعر تبار الشمال وكما الأحكام يا مارتا الذين قابلين هاي الخاص بالمشاعر بيتين الشمال المشاعر بيا الخاصة بيتين الشمال الخاص موتين بدون براين بالمشاعر بفرق بالسول يمينه يوصل هوتي مشاعر المان هم بيوصل وصف لنا أتعرف الشمال فالوتينو باي تبين الشمال لاسس أسقط كل من إلى ويجرا أتى الشمال وتينو بتوب لنا كل يمين بخايشين كيام الزاع وتستقى تي لنا في نشمة لاسس أسقط من فالوتي من الشمال وتينو كشر تيوانا. So you tell them about the Yetzias Mitzrayim, and then you say why God took us out is to give us the land. And you say why God gave us the land, which is to command us in these chukim. You say why He commanded us in the chukim, which is to fear Him, and why we fear Him, which is to do good for us all the days, and then it'll be a tzedakah for us. So what's the Ritva's point? He's saying that this is all included in Avas and Molo Pilpas Pesach. Really. That's what he's saying, right? I said the flaw mashi amarnu af ata emolo lo hilvos pesach. They're left an af ata. What's that left an af ata? I mean, it's an inclusion, right? Is even. I'm asking, well, Riva saying that the Torah's answer is included in what the Haggadah is saying here. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's just, I sound like he's going that direction. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's very dissatisfying. He was to me honey, right? He was astounded. His answer doesn't live up to the astonishment. I mean, I feel like it's connected to what I said before about the that you're supposed to Pikach anu mishivin lo ki anu osim ze pihol pasapasa vishi neval asova v'dan lefishi in lanu lechol shum davar acharav v'deis bishar tamo b'fino mitoch hatam nasir tame mitzvah u'nisaper ba kol halayla. Like that's the full version of Ata Emolo Kilpas Pesach. Like you explained in the halacha and you explained in the reason behind it and how it's in service of the mitzvah of Sipor, you know. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't know how much he's assuming that you're supposed to read into the context of the Psukim. These are drushos. They seem to be taking it seriously that they're also modeling like actual Sipor.
Yeah.
And that time you have to say the whole thing. This is like I don't know, how do you just sound like a different like in the ones in one? But the question you know then you have to talk about it you want to
Yeah.
you know you talk like you're like not going out
Mhm.
but That's not only perform, not perform 20. I'm thinking of exactly what it's doing.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's do this. Let us read the rest of the Arbanim, and then I think my mind is not on tonight. And I'm just completely tired. So let's just read the next one and then just get started thinking on them. And I think I gotta call it quits. Rosh Mahu Omer, Maha Varazos Lachem, Pir Shami. So this is the one that I just read. Maha Tereach Shetem Matficham Alina B'Koshana. What is this burden, this toil that you're toiling, making us toil with all every year? Shetem Ma'achim. Oh, so yeah, this is he adds a little bit. Shetem Ma'achim Sudasenu L'Arbiv Simchas HaChag. Yeah, you're delaying our Suda and you're ruining the Simchas HaChag. Yeah, Ki Rasha Begova Apo Bal Yidrosh. The Rasha in his arrogant anger will not inquire. Yeah, Lafish Amar Lachem, Hotias Atun Niflal, the cover Be'ikr. Iluhu Lo Nitztava Bedavar, as if he was not commanded in the matter. So there's a couple things here, right? One is, it's interesting the argument that the Rasha is making, because he's putting it in halachic terms. Or not halachic terms. He's not saying, like, I'm not celebrating Pesach. He's saying, you're ruining the Simchas HaChag. But clearly he doesn't understand what the Simchas HaChag is. Like, Simchas HaChag is the C4, and like, yeah, the meal's part of it, but he's viewing like the C4 as like an obstacle to get to the real Simchas HaChag, you know?
Which is definitely how it feels.
Yeah, right. Now we know which one you are. Yeah. But then it's interesting, he quotes this pasuk, where's this pasuk from? Tehilim, that Russia in his arrogant anger will not inquire. So he's saying that that's what makes him a Russia. The fact that he's like just fixated on the pleasure of the meal and is not inquiring. Like we're having a whole like symposium, as the Rav would say, you know, here, and he's just you know, he just wants to eat. Can't wait one night. You know. We're so upset that the Ramban said we're done eating already. You know? Yeah.
Living all Arab stuff.
Yeah. And then the other thing that's interesting here is the cup of Iker is not what we said in the Rambam of Kofrin. Right? That's denying God. He's saying he's denying his inclusion in mitzvos. Ilu hu lo nitzava b'davar.
Right. It doesn't seem like there's any yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That he is included.
Yeah. What's the Iker? Yeah, it is Torah, but
well, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't sound like he's denying Torah. It sounds like he's just like, not like this particular mitzvah, like he's trying to exclude himself from this mitzvah, you know? But I guess he's saying that's a reflection of the fact that he's saying, yeah. Say again? Hard to tell from here, right? Because he just wants to eat. But he's getting it from the fact that it's lachem, right? Lefisham or lachem, not because he says all this stuff about the food. Yeah, it always seems very overly harsh, right?
Yeah.
Lachem, and then especially because you have to answer for the chacham also, because he says eschem. And then they say, oh, he says eschem, and then the answers are either like eschem is different than lachem because eschem is with you. And then he says Elokeinu, Hashem Elokeinu, including himself, but those are all, I don't know.
Well, isn't that funny God that he's saying and all that? Like, I don't know. That's what I.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's not excluding himself from the mitzvahs because he's asking about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is for sure. What's the Russia in the Torah? Where's the Russia's question in the Torah?
Isn't that
The base.
yeah, it's the one in like
Yeah.
Okay, what?
Talking
Go.
about. One.
Yeah. That's page 166 in Tanakh. Yeah, it's in Kivyecha. Vaya Kivyecha Hashem, etc. Vaya Ki Shachad Mincha Machal Ma'azos. And that's the Ma'azos about the Bechoros. Petachon Rechan. Oh, Chava? Wait, what? Oh, yeah, I'm doing the Ben Tom. I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is about Pesach, right? Yeah, we don't say here in this pasuk that he's excluding himself from the plow, right? It is a weird question.
Yeah.
Like, why don't they just ask, what is this avoda? That would be the normal way to ask it.
It's, I mean, what are you doing basically? Like, the parents are the ones doing, if he's not buying it, he's,
And what is this avoda to you?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. The addition of more fun makes it sound like he's saying it's a subjective.
Yeah, it does sound like an exclusion. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is your personal-
Like if you never say to your parents, like if you see them doing something that you don't understand, you don't say, what is this to you? You say, what is this? Or what are you doing? You know?
What is doing taxes to you?
Yeah, right? That's yeah. Oh, look at this next part. Afata haka shina harose lulus lechabahem. That's why he didn't eat, because he just wants to eat with them.
Nice.
Yeah. Comedic negative. Haka shina vachitete nasha.
Well, if you're not had a seat though, at a certain point, either you were taking nacho or not.
Yeah.
He won't be able to eat.
Right.
Right.
Not to take the
I think I gotta stop. I'm not getting anywhere. Yeah, right, sorry.